Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope your day is off to a great start. My name is Maureen Rolfus, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. I have been an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 28 years, and I love what I do. I'm here to help you find the joy of card making and paper crafting, to give you tips and tricks to make that easier and more fun for you, and then to encourage you to send out your beautiful creations to others so it brings joy to them. The goal is to eradicate loneliness one card at a time. It is another nice day here in Middle Tennessee. High clouds, a little bit of a breeze. We're supposed to get up to 80. They're saying maybe thunderstorms tonight, which would be wonderful because we need rain desperately. I see someone's popping on, so let me come over here and make sure that I am where I want to be and lined up how I want to be. Hang on with me just a second. There I am. All right. That is awesome. Hi, Shar. Glad you are here. Yeah, thanks. I got it cut yesterday. I like it too. Although, taking a side note here, I know you guys knew I talked about getting a different lady to cut my hair because I didn't like the person I had and it was such a battle. So I found this lady. I loved it. Thank you, Shar. I went back to her this time and she's moving next week. So now I have to find someone new again. Crazy. It's life, I guess. It's hair, so I shouldn't worry too much about it. Anyway, if you're watching, please be sure to say hello in the comments. I do have a mint in my mouth, so I hope that's not bothering as I'm talking. But my throat is super scratchy. Again, I think the dryness is really bringing out the allergies even more than usual, so that is what it is. But let me know if you're here. Leave comments, as many comments as you like. Each one counts as a chance to win the card that we're making today. And if you watch later on the replay, let me know that also. I just love to hear from you. That makes it just fun that we're interacting together. Isn't it crazy, Shar, that having to find a new hairdresser is such a big deal? But I have to do it so many times. We've moved so many times. I've had people move. Oh, yeah, it is what it is. All the comments left today through midnight tomorrow for sure will be entered for a chance to win the card we make today. And also a reminder, if you can share my video to your homepage. Good morning, Lori. A crafty group, a crafty friend, anywhere you'd like to share me, go ahead and do that. I appreciate it. It gets me exposure for my small business. And if you do that, let me know. And I'll give you a bonus entry in today's drawing. Okay, well, that's it. Let's go turn you around. Ooh, 70 and 70% humidity. Wow, that is high for Prescott, Lori. Wow. Okay, I'm going to take you down to the table. Here we are. This is me, Maureen Rolfus, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. My email is crazystampinglady@gmail.com. My Facebook is facebook.com/Crazy Stamping Lady. My YouTube is under my name, Maureen Rolfus, and you can shop with me at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net. And when you shop with me, you are shopping through Stampin' Up, and they offer a rewards program. So for every online order of a minimum of at least $20, you will automatically receive 10% back in rewards on a future purchase. The rewards are good for a year. You can use them on your next order. You can accumulate them. It is a wonderful program, so I hope you'll consider shopping with me. To get your account, go to stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net and be sure you opt in for the rewards and that you opt in before you submit it, that yes, you can be notified by me. That way I'll be able to send you information and new catalogs as they come out. No cards to share today, so I'm going to move right along. Crazy monthly lady. Yeah, Crazy Stamping Ladies free monthly card class. If you order from me in the month of September with a qualifying order, you will earn a free online card class from me and kit. Just place your order of $50 or more to get 3 cards in your packet, $75 or more to get 3 cards and a bonus project, $100 or more to get 3 cards, a bonus project, and a half a pack of an embellishment. Any smaller order still receives a handmade card from me as a thank you, and all orders are entered into my monthly order prize drawing. The October free class for orders that you place in September will be on Monday, October 13th at 11 a.m. and your kit will be mailed to you automatically at the end of the month if you have qualified. That's my thank you to you each month. A reminder of some of our product changes ahead. I talked about this a while back, but I'm going to mention it again just so you're aware. We are phasing out the red rubber stamps. I think this catalog that just came out is the last one to have any of them in this release. After this, they will all be photopolymer due to a problem with sourcing the materials needed for the red rubber, as well as the fact that they are much less popular than the photopolymer. So Stampin' Up! Is phasing those out. We are also phasing out the Stampin' Right markers. They were all placed on the last chance list. I'll be honest, I didn't look to see if any are still there, but if you like the watercolor markers and they are a really nice quality and they match our colors, go ahead and grab them while they're still there, because we are getting rid of those. When they're gone, they're gone. And then finally, we are moving from the DVD cases for our stamps like this to an envelope type of storage, similar to what our dies currently come in. So eventually, all of the dies and all of the stamp sets will come in these envelopes. They will all be the same size. You'll be able to rubber band them together if you want to put your dies with your stamp set. I'm not sure, maybe the dies might even fit in the same envelope with a stamp set. That I don't know until we start getting them. One thing to know about that is as they're coming in, so as we run out of cases for a certain stamp set, they will start putting them into these envelopes. And that'll be a gradual phase-in process. So you might actually end up getting an order that has one stamp set still in a case and one stamp set in an envelope. That is just until they use up the product they have on time. So just some product changes. I'll remind you of this every few times just so that you don't forget or someone new sees it. And then right now we have our 12 days of holiday event going on over in our Global Inspiration Stamp Team group. That group is a group for my customers and my team members in Stampin' Up! As a thank you group. And we do presentations every 2 months in there. There is a number of us from around the world that do these. Right now we have 10 active in this presentation. This will go on for 12 days. So it's the 1st of September through the 12th. We're already on day 5. And if you've missed any of the presentations, make sure you go back and check them out. I was on, not yesterday, but the day before. And I will be on again Saturday morning, tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock with anything but a card presentation. So it's a non-card. We'll see how I do with that. So I hope you can join me. If you need an invite to this group because you are a customer or a team member and you're not already part of the group, let me know and I'll get you invited. And then I posted this morning, but just a quick to let you all know. For a while, Stampin' Up! Had discontinued our water painters because they couldn't source them. But we now have them back in stock. So they are the same water painters. They're water tubes that you can fill up with water for your watercoloring. They're great for travel because you can carry your water right with you in there. There's 3 different brushes when you order them. So you get all 3 of these. One is very fine tipped. One is a little bit larger. And then there is a wide brush that comes in the set. So some of you were asking for these a while back. And I was so sad they were gone. We really need something for watercoloring, and they've brought them back. So yay to that. Check them out in the online exclusives on our store. So today I'm doing a fun fold I've never done before in this group. It's called the Majestic M Fun Fold. And it is the same card layout, the same fun fold that I did over in my Global Inspiration stamp team, only that was a Christmas card. I'm not going to show you that card here yet. At some point in the future I will, when the whole thing is over. But I am going to duplicate that card using the Gallery Blooms bundle. So here's the recipe. I'll bring that back out later if you want to take a picture, and I will post it in the comments of this video. So for today's card, we are using the Gallery Blooms bundle. So this is a bundle of gorgeous flowers, and then the dies that go with it cut out all those flowers, as well as some other solid flowers. Here are 2 leaves. And then this is the one that cuts out the flower we're doing today. And it also cuts out this double frame. So I save extras in here of what it cuts out for future cards when I make them. But it will actually cut out this middle layer, which is, right here. And then this layer, which is right here. And then a bigger frame, which is right here. So lots of fun with these. We are using these today. I'm just going to take out this die because it's the only one that I need for today. Set it up here to use it. Excuse me while I clear my throat and take a sip of coffee. Yeah, allergies. Yuck. Never used to have them. The older I go, the worse they get. Okay, so that's the stamp set. And then we're also using a couple other products on here. I'm just going to share real quick. The Textured Notes dies. This is one of my favorite die sets. It has all these rectangles that it cuts out, and they have a bunch of different patterns. So if you layer them, the different rectangles have different patterns on them, and I love that. I use this one right here for today's project. I can show it to you. And I pre-cut it out because when you're doing a rectangle die, you want to try to feed them through your cut and emboss machine at an angle so it catches that corner rather than the flat line. It makes it easier to cut and it's easier on your machine. But because our little mini machine, which is what I can use up here, isn't wide enough for me to really angle that, I cut them out on my big cut and emboss, so I had to do that ahead of time. So that is what we're using out of these gorgeous dies. And then we're using a sentiment from the Right Words. You've seen me use this a few times lately. I love almost every sentiment in here, but today we're just using the thinking of you. So yes, very, very pretty. Very pretty, scripty. Okay, so, and I guess I'll just show you our papers right away too. We're also using 2 designer series papers. Florals and Bloom designer series paper and the Boho Vibes designer series paper. I'm just looking for patterns that go together for the card, and I found them by using these 2. So yeah, that's it. I think that's it for that. Okay, let me get our pieces out of here. Here is our basic white envelope. Just set that up to the side. We have a piece of Secret C cardstock. Now this piece is 5.5 by 8. So normally our paper is 8.5. You're going to need to cut 1/2 inch off of that end. And let me make sure I did that already. Yes, I did. So this one is 5.5 by 8. And we're going to score this in just a minute. But I'll tell you my other pieces first. This is that piece from the dies that we cut out. And this is 3 inches by 4.5. You're going to need to be able to have it large enough to cut that out. I have a scrap that I stamped a flower on that we're going to be coloring, so we got time to do that, but I did it ahead of time with a memento so that I can be coloring it. We're going to stamp another flower, and I'll let that one dry while we do this one, so that'll all work out. And then I have designer series paper. So this is the pattern here that I took out of the Florals in Bloom designer series paper, and it matches pretty much the flower that we're doing on our card. So there's 4 strips of this. Each one is 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. And then I have 2 coordinating pieces of designer series paper. These were the ones I took out of the Boho Vibes. They match the Secret C on here. They're kind of a neutral pattern, and I thought they would work well with this. On the back are these polka dotties, and those are cute too, but not for the card we're making today. And these 2 pieces are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. All right, let's do our card here, guys. I don't want to lose any pieces, so I'm just going to put this all together to the side when I grab my scorer. Now this is our cutter and scorer, and it comes with both cutting blades and scoring blades. I actually have two of them, so I keep a scoring blade in one and a cutting blade in one, so that if I'm doing a class, people can be doing both things. So be aware that if you get one, it will have both the light colored scoring blade and the dark colored cutting blade on one little cutter, and that works fantastic. I just don't want to confuse anyone by that, thinking this is how it comes. So now we're going to score this 5.5 by 8 inch piece. We're going to score it along this long side here. So that's what's going to the bottom for my measurements. And I'm going to score at 1 5/8. Now there's a lot of eighths on this card. It's not hard, but it does have 1/8 of an inches a lot. So be aware of that. 1 5/8 and 1 7/8. I want to get them really nice and straight for this to fold correctly. Okay, so we have that little gap scored there. And then we're going to score at 3 3/4. And again at 4 1/4. Okay, so then the other measurements for scoring are 6 1/8 and 6 3/8. But it's just making equal ends. So for me, rather than take out this arm and get the 6 inches, I'm just going to flip it around and do the same first two measurements on this side. So it's 1 5/8. And then again, 1 7/8. So you can do it either way. You can do the measurements all the way across, or you can just flip it like this and do the other end. Whatever works for you. Okay, so there's all of our scores on there. I know you probably can't see them great on camera, but you'll have the measurements. So now I'm going to take my bone folder and we're going to fold on these creases. So I'm going to take my first one over here to the left and fold it up toward me. You can fold back and forth on these if you want. It's not going to hurt anything because this card has a bit of movement to it. But I am just going to probably fold the one direction for each fold. So these are coming up on the front. Then I'm going to fold back on that middle one. Increase it like that. And then back again on the next one. Increase it. And then I'm going to fold forward on these again, just like I did on the other end. So I'm going to bring this one up to the front. And then the next one up to the front. Now, these are really close together. There's only a 1/4 inch between them. So I find it's easier to get it started by kind of creasing it with my finger on that second one. And then taking my bone folder. It doesn't like to just fold over easily just because it's so close to that last fold. So when you are done, you have this. You have a series of folds on your card that form this M. And that is why it's called the Majestic M Fun Fold. So it all makes sense when you think about it. Okay, so this is going to be the front of our card. On the front of our card, we're going to put on these two dark blue pattern pieces. Now they don't show up a lot on there, but they do give it some character. Without them, it would just be kind of blah on those segments. You could put something a little brighter if you wanted, but it's going to get covered up a little bit by our focal point. So I just wanted something on there so it wasn't plain. And I'm going to leave that center 1/2 inch section, and we're going to place this over here, centering it between the two score lines and closely to top to bottom, as close as you can without worrying too much about it. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Now I've made a few of these. The other ones are Christmas cards, like I said. I'll share those with you at a future date. But after you make 1 or 2 of these, trust me, it gets really easy to figure out what you're doing. So we're going to come in here again and place this one between those little score sections. Okay, so these are going on the bigger panels between them. Again, centered as closely as I can get it. And that just gives a little bit of character to that part. Then we're going to take our 4 floral pieces, and you can lay them out. You want to be sure if they have a direction, that they're going directional. And we're going to have 2 of them opposite each other on this side and 2 opposite each other on this side. So look at them and kind of see the flowers and see what you think where you want to place things. Like I want this to show, and there's going to be a little focal point here in the middle. So I'm going to put this more pink one over here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, with this more pink one over here. So when I put my focal point in, I can see some of that pink. We'll keep these for the other side. Again, don't overthink it. If that's too much for you, just grab a section and put it right on. Don't stress about card making, guys. Have fun with it. When you're making something, you should be able to enjoy it and then send it on to someone else and let them enjoy it. So that is what it's all about. We're going to put this on that very first section, centering again, top to bottom, side to side. This other one on the last section. And like I said, try to get them straight, but don't stress too much. Okay, so there is the pieces for this. Now I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to add those other 2 pieces to the outside panels here. Okay, and again, you can think about it. I'm going to switch them a little bit because I want that pink to show. It's not going to show a lot on this one, unfortunately, just because of the placement of it, but this one over here will allow a little more to show. So just because I'm doing one of the flowers in that color on my focal point, and so I want that to kind of pull out that color. It's one of the main colors in this card, but the Secret Sea is so dark and beautiful that it kind of pulls away from all the color, so I want to be able to see it. Hope you guys are having a great day. I went and played Bunko last night and won $10. Pretty fun. We have a Bunko group that meets each month. We do eat too. We eat and we meet. And someone always brings dessert. And last night we had a mix-up, so 2 people brought dessert. So it was more about eating than ever. But it was a lot of fun. Okay. I'm going to leave these 2 panels blank. They're on the back of the card, and I'll tell you some things that we can do with them later. But we're going to flip this back over, and now you can see these 2 pieces fold in. They actually will fold completely flat, so you can put them into your envelope. But they have a little bit of a side on them where we scored, and then when it opens up, it looks like that. Now we want to do our focal point for this card. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my flower. I'm going to stamp 1 onto this piece of white right here. And I will tell you, with this glass mat, my photopolymer stamps usually do fantastic. But once in a while, I have one that is fussy. And this flower was fussy for me. So I am going to bring out my foam pad to use underneath here, just to make sure I get a nice sharp image on here. I'm going to use Memento Black ink, and it's the same flower that I already stamped here, but I could be coloring this one while this one is drying. So, and I'm going to make sure I ink it up well. I think, you know, just sometimes in the manufacturing, maybe the photopolymer was slightly less deep in one spot. I'm not sure why it is, but we're going to come in here and place this onto this card at an angle. Right there. And now I got a beautiful image with that. So that's fantastic. I'm going to get rid of this, and we are going to add our sentiment that is thinking of you. I'm just going to ink that up. Now this is from another set, so this one is red rubber. I'm going to bring it down a little bit on my card, a little bit closer to the bottom down here, and try to center it. And there we go, thinking of you. So we have our focal point started. Let's get on to some coloring on here. These are pretty fast to color. I am going to color them both. I was hoping to get time to do this one ahead of time, but ran out of time. You know how it is. So for this flower here, I am going to be using light and dark petunia pop and light and dark granny apple green. For this one that I let dry so I can start doing it right away, I am going to be using light and dark cloud cover and light and dark shy shamrock. Now I'm not going to do a lot of shading on these guys. It's just not necessary. It's a pretty small image. Ooh, I almost dropped that. Oh, I got my dark. I wanted my light. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. It's a pretty small image. It has a lot of lines in it already that give you a shadowing effect. So I don't want to take a ton of time on these, especially because I'm making you watch me do them all. How about that? But I do love, 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 love coloring and love our blends. So I am going to take just a minute and color these in. Now, right now, all I'm doing is just coloring them like I would anything if I was coloring in a coloring book with a color. I'm not doing any shading, but I am going to come back in, excuse me again, with my dark Shy Shamrock, and I am going to add just a little bit kind of at the bottom and side of these leaves where they're coming into the stem, just to give it a little bit of depth. It's so simple to shade with the blends. Honestly, that's all you have to do. Do a few lines, come back in with your light and go right over where those two colors came together, and they will just blend seamlessly, and you'll have like dark to light on your leaves. And it was so simple to do. And you can kind of follow the lines that Stampin' Up! Has already put there for you, which is really nice. I don't know if you can see that online, but there is some depth to that coloring. So that's all I'm going to do for that. For the flowers, I am going to start with my light cloud cover and just color in all these top ones. And I don't know if there's supposed to be any leaves up on these, but I made sure they were all flowers. I mean, when I made believe, I shouldn't say I made sure. I played with them, I colored them, I just acted like they were all flowers. And I think they are. I think these are the only leaves on this plant. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but it is what it is. So I'm going to come about halfway down on there with the light, and then take my dark cloud cover and do the rest of these. Now, there's not a lot of difference. You'll notice, you go, oh, that's hardly anything at all. It is true. They're very similar, but they are light and dark. They are two different shades. And it just gives your flower a little bit more of a realistic look because you're getting those different tones of color in there without any more work at all. We're not even going to do any other shading on these. We're just going a little bit light to a little bit darker. So that is that flower. Let me cut it out. On our cut and emboss machine, I'm going to use the mini machine because it works great for this. So I love when I can use the mini because I can get it right up here on my table. I have my gray plate, one of my number 2 plates. I'm going to place my little flower on there. Come in with the die that goes right around it. And let me grab a piece of washi tape because I want to be able to make this so it doesn't move once I get it centered. Remember, if you're using washi tape, you want to stick it on your skin or on your shirt or something a couple times before using it on your card. Otherwise, it can tear up the paper. But once you do that, it makes it not as sticky, just enough to hold it down. You could also use Post-it notes for the same thing. If they're the extra sticky ones, you're going to want to, again, put it on your skin or your clothing or something to make it not quite so sticky. Hopefully that didn't move too much. Nope, there, we're fine. So there is our pretty little flower all cut out. It did move slightly, but it still is great, and we're going to use it. I probably should have used 2 pieces of washi tape, but I didn't. Okay, let's come back to our other little flower here. I'm going to grab my light granny apple green, and we are going to do the same thing. I'm just going to color in these leaves. I love flowers. I know we always say we have so many flower stamp sets, but man, I never get tired of them. I just think everyone is more beautiful than the last one, so. And I love flowers in real life too. Walking outside, grabbing a bouquet of my hydrangeas, or when I had the daylilies, all of that just makes me happy. To walk into my house and see a bouquet of flowers on the counter. My husband is not a flower person. It's very hard for him to justify purchasing flowers when they're just going to die really soon. But if I can pick them from outside, that makes me just as happy. Now I'm going to use the dark Granny Apple Green and come in, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to just follow those lines up a little bit from the center of the flowers, of the leaves, the part that's coming in contact with the stem. And like I said, Stampin' Up! Gives you those great lines to kind of follow and see where the shadowing should be. And then we're going to come in with our lighter one and just blend that together a little bit where they come together. And that just helps reactivate that alcohol in the markers. And when you do that, it causes them to soften and blend into the colors you want. So that is that. And then we're going to do the same thing with the flowers, starting with our light petunia pop. And I'm going to color the lighter ones here at the top. And I don't stress too much either if I accidentally get in a space or something as I'm coloring, or if I leave a space where it should be a blossom. You know what, if I can't see it while I'm coloring, chances are no one else is going to notice that later either. So my whole philosophy is no stress stamping. Really it is. If I'm going to stress about something, it's not worth it for me, because at least half of the joy is just me enjoying making the card. Okay, then I'm going to take my dark one and we'll do the bottom petals with that. So, and again, it's not going to be a lot different, but it is a noticeable difference, enough to see that you have a different tone down here. And it just makes your flowers seem a little bit, oh, I think I missed a little piece there, a little bit more realistic, or at least not so monotone one shade. All right. There. Got it. Okay, again, I don't know if you can see on camera, but it does go from light to dark. And I just love that look. Such a simple little way to add some character to your card. Okay, so we have those pieces and we have this piece. Let's put them together and make our card. So what we're going to do is we are going to adhere this piece right here to the middle section, that middle ½ inch of our M. And I only want it sticking on that middle. So I am going to take some tearing tape, and we're going to put a section right down the middle here. I am going to make sure the piece I put down isn't longer than the piece of white, because I don't want it sticking out at all. So I'm just going to kind of figure this out by, it's a little hard on camera, but by laying it on there. So I want it about this long. And I am going to come in and add this to the middle of my card. Whoop, 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 whoop. Tearing tape is super sticky, so once it's stuck down, it's hard to get up. So be a little careful with it. Okay, now that's right in the middle like that. I'm going to take my bone folder and go over the whole thing, and then a little extra at this end, and that's just going to help me be able to pick up that backing from the tape. So now I'm going to slide the tip of my scissors along there, and it should pick it right up, which it does, which is awesome. Just like that. We're going to take this piece, and now you can see it's going to cover that tape completely, but I want to center it side to side, so I'm being a little careful before I lay it down onto the card and stick it. There we go. Let me make sure it's a little straight there before I stick it too hard. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm just going to go right down there. Now I want that really to adhere well, because this is a moving card. So I'm also going to come here on the back and go right down the middle of that with some pressure to make sure that that tearing tape is really adhering well. Okay, then we're going to take our other little flower and add it to this card. And for this, I'm going to use some dimensionals. So I'm just going to grab a couple of them and add one down here by the stem and one up here on the flower. That's all we should need to hold this up on the card. And then we're going to come in and place it. And I'm going to place it so the stem is down farther, closer to the thinking of you, and a little bit at an angle like that. So I have my two little flowers on there. So now I'm going to add a couple more things to this, but before that I do that, let me show you how this card now comes together. What happens is you fold it back and these two pieces come in, and then you fold it forward. So when it's in your envelope, it is going to lay flat just like this. It's going to go through the mail like any other card, which is awesome. It's going to fit in to your envelope perfectly like that. But then when your recipient gets it, it kind of flops as soon as they hold it, which makes it nice because it indicates that it's going to open that way. And I like that. And then it just opens up, and then this is what they get. And like I said, these are perfect. They'll stand perfectly on your table. Really pretty for display. I love that. So let's finish off decorating this, and then I'm going to tell you a couple more things and show you my prototype, which was similar but different. So we're going to use some of the In Color flat pearls. These are the 24 to 26 in colors. And I'm going to decide what in color I want to use on here. I think I am going to use the petunia pop to kind of pull out that petunia. So now you can see on here, like you can see the petunia on each side. And when I close this in, because of the way I laid my paper, I can see it here and here. If you turn them around like this one, sometimes they're hidden by your little focal point. So that was the only reason I did that. Okay, let's pick up our petunia pop. In Color pearls. I'm going to place one, looks like it's got a fuzzy on it, one down here. And then that's the largest one. I'll put the medium one right here. And the smallest one right up here to form my triangle of gems, and it kind of fills in that white space up there. And then I want to add a little bow to this, so I'm going to use linen thread. I love our linen thread. You guys know I love our linen thread. I would say you need about 7 inches to tie a nice bow, but I'm going to tie mine right off of the spool, so I might need a little bit less. Just going to come in here and do my loop, wrap it around, pull it through, and then once I have that, then I'm going to pull my little loops very tiny and tighten them and pull them very tiny and tighten them until I get it exactly the loop size that I want on my card, and that they're pretty even. And then once I do that, just going to trim the tails. And I really like linen thread whenever I'm doing a real natural card with flowers or nature or masculine cards. It works for so many things. I always have several spools on hand. We're just going to add that there, and I'm going to add it with the tiniest bit of Tombow. So I'm just going to come in here with this little dab of Tombow glue. It doesn't have to be much because the Tombow really sticks well, and the linen thread is very thin. And we're going to place that onto the card right in the middle there, right on top of that glue. And then I'm going to lay one of my clear blocks on there. Whoops, it moved a little bit. We'll get it back where we need it. Stay there, lay that down quick. Lay that block on there for just a few seconds. That's going to help that adhere to the card and stay where it should be. So while that is drying, I am going to stamp my envelope. And we're going to just kind of mimic what we did on the card, but I'm not going to color. I'm just going to do the thinking of you, because you know I can't send a naked envelope. That makes me so sad. A couple times in my life I've had to do it in a pinch when I don't have time to grab another one, or I've ruined it when I was on vacation or something. But man, I hate when that happens. And I'm going to ink this up really well. And you know what? I'm going to bring in, what did I do with my mat? Maybe I can't bring it back in. I stuck my mat somewhere. Oh, here it is. On the floor, right next to me. I am going to ink this up really well and then stamp it. And again, I'm using the mat just because this flower was a little finicky. If you don't have a stamp mat and you're having finicky images, let's get that right there. Go ahead and use a mouse pad under it or a magazine. Anything that has just a little bit of give is going to help you get that really nice sharp image on there. So yay to that. So there is our envelope. Our card should be good. That should be stuck on there, which it is. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh. This is a super easy fun fold, guys. When I first saw it, I was intimidated by it. But honestly, it's just those 4 score lines. That's it to make this gorgeous card. Open it up, close it up. Now, the one thing I noticed on these cards is they really don't have a place for you to write your message to someone. So I'm going to give you a couple tips on that. What you could do is cut 2 additional pieces of basic white cardstock. These would be the same as the front striped ones. So they are 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and they could be placed on the back here, and you could write your message. What I would suggest is not gluing them on till after you write your message. Because of the bounce and the thickness in here, it's going to be hard to write once they're on there. So if I was making this card to send, I would stick these in the envelope with this, which I will do to whoever wins this card, like that, and then they have them. They can write their message and add them afterwards if they want. What I am going to do, because I have one I'm going to show you in a minute that I made, is I am going to, and I already did it, I took a 1/4 sheet of just typing paper, copy paper. I decorated it to go with the card, and I'm just going to write my note on here and put it in the envelope with the card like that. Now, the only problem that causes is later if someone's looking at this card, they may not remember it was you that sent it to them. So if you want to be sure, and what I'm going to do is I just punched out a little piece of basic white with one of our punches, and I am going to add that on the back of the card. So that way they'll remember that I made them that card. But I can write my note and anything personal right on here. So I hope those ideas help you with what this is. Again, the one I am sending, I am going to send with these 2 pieces. So when you get them, you'll go, huh, what the heck? So that you can add them after you write your message, but I wouldn't adhere them till after you've written on them. Okay, that is that one. Let me show you my prototype for this when I was planning it. So it's very, very similar. Only this one uses the Secret C design card stock rather than this one uses cloud cover rather than the Secret C. I used a different gem on here, so I think these were my Shy Shamrock gems from the same set, but a different color. And then when you open this one, the pattern paper on here went more with the cloud cover, whereas the one in here goes more with the Secret C. So same exact card, so similar, 2 different color schemes, just to give you an idea of how you can change it up. Now, like I said, later in the month, after our global inspiration thing is over, I will show you the Christmas cards I made using this same exact fold, and I think you will love them too. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is the card I am giving away today. So if you are interested in trying to win it, leave me comments, lots of comments. Every comment counts as an entry. And then here is the instruction sheet. If you want to take a screenshot, it does have all the measurements and scoring measurements. I will also post this with a picture of the card in the comments of this video, so you can check it out there also. Okay. Just a reminder about the Global Inspiration Team, 12 Days of Holidays. Make sure you check that out. Again, I will be on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time for my presentation. Thank you for taking some time to be with me today. I really hope you liked today's card and maybe learned something and a few tips and tricks. And finally, I would love to have your business. If you're looking for Stampin' Up! Products, or if you just have questions for me, any kind of creative questions, please contact me. I will be glad to try to help you. I am here to answer those questions and be your creative coach. So if you have anything at all you need to reach out to me for, just contact me by email at crazystampinglady@gmail.com. My plan is to be back here next Tuesday with some more fun and creativity. Same time, same place. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.